pitfalls in cryptography. So in the movie, you always often see that cryptography can be cracked, okay, and someone able to get a password and so on. Is that possible? Can encryption scheme be hacked? Can we break cryptography? Modern ciphers such as AES, SHA-3, they are believed to be secure. Okay? That means they cannot be attacked, cannot be hacked, cannot be broken. However, there are many wrong way, pitfall in using them. Okay? Because of the wrong way of using them, we can break it. Okay? The scheme itself is secure, it's just the way it's being used is wrong. Okay? We will show some examples. As of whether encryption schemes, cryptography scheme can be cracked, yes, but earlier one. Okay, the earlier versions such as RC4, DES, A5, they have some weaknesses. And some of them, surprisingly, is designed intentionally so that it's easy to break. Okay, in particular DES. Okay. So right now, I will mention some pitfalls. Okay. First one, don't rule your own crypto. Okay. If we need to have one primitive, crypto primitive, suppose we are the software engineer, we want to build a system and we need a cryptographic primitive. Okay. The first most important rule is don't design your own. Don't even make slight modification. For example, taking AES needs the number of rounds, increase the round, decrease the round, or so on. The best is to use existing library. These words, don't rule your own crypto, in fact, is a top voted this sentence. Okay. Answer instead exchange. Instead exchange, someone asks a question about what is the thing to look out for in using crypto. This is voted as the first one. Second one, okay, secret key selections. Let's look at this example. Okay, this incident. WikiLeaks, at one time, WikiLeaks, when is that? Okay, in 2010, right? Okay, WikiLeaks make this announcement claiming that they obtained some cyber attacks, okay, have encrypted video of US bombs, right? Okay, they claim that the video is encrypted. They request for computer times, ask for people to contribute computer times to decrypt it. And later, indeed, it was successfully decrypted. Okay. So this video, okay, encrypted by military, they are definitely using very strong encryptions. So how is this possible? So without further detail, I can only speculate. Okay, here is one possibility. Let's suppose that this encrypted using 128 bits or even 25 bits key, okay, to encrypt it. Okay, this encrypted using a very strong key. Let's say 128 bits keys. But this key is derived from a weak password. Okay, and the computer did not search the 128 bits key. He searched the password. Okay, so this figure show this describe the step. Okay. Let's suppose that because the password is 8 characters, but I believe the password probably is longer than that. Let's suppose the password is 8 characters. So how do we use 8 characters password to encrypt a file? Remember, a file, the bit is the secret key is 128 bits. there's something called key derivation function, okay, that take the password and convert it to a 128 bits key. Let's suppose that this key derivation function is a SHA-128. Okay, so we take the 8-character password, pass to the one SHA-128, and what we get will be 128 bits key. And this generated key will be used to encrypt the file. Now, suppose we are the attacker. Okay, what should we do? We are an attacker. We obtain the ciphertext. We don't know the key. Okay. And one way to do it is try all possible key. If we try all possible key, this 128 bits key, we have to try what we call 2 raised to the power 128 times. So how many possible key are there? 2 raised to the power of 128. And we try that, it will take very long time. Okay, likely even after the solar system disintegrate. Okay, yeah. But why should I, as an attacker, try to do this? As an attacker, I know that the key is derived from the password. Okay, why not I try, okay, to exhaustively try all possible password? Now, 8-character password, how many possible 8-character password do we have? How many possible character for one character? How many possible symbol for one character? We have A to Z, upper and lower case, maybe plus the digit 0 to 9. So the total possible number is around 62. Okay. That's though include the symbol. If you include a symbol, it will not increase much anyway. Okay. So 8-character will be 62 raised to the power of 8. 62 raised to the power of 8 versus 2 raised to the power of 128. Which one is larger? 62 raised to the power of 8 is much, much smaller. Okay, I leave it to you. You can use calculator to calculate. A very fast way to do it is 62 is roughly equal to 64. 64 is 2 raised to the power of 16. And 16 plus 8 is 26. Okay, so this is 2 raised to the power of 26 versus 2 raised to the power of 128. Okay, right. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. 64 is 2 raised to the power of 8. 2 raised to the power of 8. Okay, yeah. And then 2 raised to the power of 8 times as raised to the power of 8, so that will be 64. Okay, 64. So will be much smaller than 2 raised to the power of 128. In general, this fall into the case where the key, the encryption is secure, but the way we choose the key is not secure. Okay, suppose that we are the software engineer again. We want to write a system. Okay, then we need a secret key. For example, you need a secret key to encrypt some files, or then how do we get this key? Okay, so one way is to use what we call pseudo random number generator. Okay, they are called pseudo because they are not truly random. Okay, let's try Google or ChatGPT. Okay, Google ask them how to generate a random number in Python or anywhere. So they likely will recommend a method to say that, okay, we generate a random number based on the current times. Okay, and then give you the program to do it. This is a very fast way to do it, but the method of doing it is reversible. It's not cryptographic secure. If the attacker know this generation process and he can able to predict the keys because he know the times, he can guess the times. Okay. Then if the attacker guess the times, then you're able to get the secret key. Even the key is 128 bits, is no use, right? So there are many real life examples like that. There are systems that's designed that when they need a secret key, they generate using at this current time using a known pseudo-random number generator. Okay. CVE. What is a CVE? So there is a big database, okay, a public database who store this known common vulnerability and exposure. Okay, suppose that a cybersecurity professional expert, he found that a particular program contained a vulnerability, contained a bugs. Okay, then he can demonstrate this and tell the whole world and go to this website, CVE, say that, hey, I found a bug, a vulnerability. Please record it down. So CVE is this database that store all these known bugs. Okay. This, the 2020 means that it's discovered in year 2020. And he started to go from 1, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So this particular one is the 7,000, the 7,000 bug found in 2020. Also, there are many, many security bugs. Okay. So in this one, okay, mentioned that weak password, this one 209, this one 208. Okay, there are many more. So how do we, what should be the method to choose a secret key? A correct method is to use what we call secure pseudo-random number generator. Okay. And one could also buy some hardware, like the one shown here, that attempt to generate a truly random numbers. Okay, like the one shown here. Wrong mode of operations. Recap what is mode of operations. Okay. The AES is a block cipher only designed for 128 bits. If we want to apply it to a 7 gigabytes plain text, then we have to extend it using mode of operations. The mode operation typically divide into blocks, right? And then extend the AES onto it. Okay. One mode operation is called ECB mode, which is very simple, okay? Which probably is the first thing that comes to our mind, is to divide the plain text into blocks, then use the secret key and create each block independently, okay? Using this key and this plain text, encrypt it to get this block. Take this key, same key, and create the next block, and then we get this, and so on. So in this case, the green part is the plain text, the yellow part is a ciphertext. So I mentioned that this will leak information. So why this will leak informations? Let's see these examples. Over here, the plain text is an image. Okay. And okay, maybe I should say that plain text is a sequence, is a big string that represent an image. Okay. So we have this image, it's a penguin, okay? And then we know that image are made up by pixel, right? Pixel, okay? So every pixel have 3 values, R, G, B, red, green, blue. So every pixel represented by 3 bytes. Okay, so I have so many pixels here. Let's suppose that we divide them, we group them. Okay, these are represented as a sequence. Okay, as a sequence of bits and bytes, and then we group them. Group them every 128 bits, 16 bytes become 1 block. Okay. So what we get is this. Actually, every pixel is represented by 4 bytes, RGB, and there's something called alpha. Okay, so anyway, so we divide them. Okay, we divide them. So there's every 4 pixel will be 16 byte, right? Every 4 pixel will be 16 byte. So every 4 pixel will be 128 bits as a blocks in the AES. So we organize this way, and then we encrypt it. Okay. After encrypted, the ciphertext is also some string, some bytes, and we interpret it as an image, and display it. So what is being displayed would be this one. So this original plain text, this is a ciphertext. Okay, we take this plain text, take every 4 pixel, group that as one blocks, every 4 pixels is 16 bytes, okay? And then we encrypt it. After encryptions, the ciphertext is also bytes, right? Bit and bytes. We treat it as a, just treat it as an image and redisplay it. And this is what we see, what we will see. So we see a penguin there, right? So why the penguin is here? Why we can see a penguin? The reason is this. You look at background. The background here are the same because this is a cartoon, right? All the value are the same. If all the value are the same as its ciphertext. Look at this one. Okay, this 000 and this 00 is the same. With the same plain text and the same key, the output will be the same. Okay, the same. The same key, different plain text, the output will be different. Okay. Because they are all the same, we will display it visually. We can very clearly know that all these are the same and it forms these pictures. And here, the stomach is not the same, although it look like white, but it's slightly different degree of whiteness, okay, compared to the background. So it's slightly different from the outside. But yet, because this part is the same, similar, we will see this. Okay, so this lead information. Okay, so this is a very simple flaw, not simple flaw. I mean, this flaw is well known. Okay, and very but then for some reason, many applications still use ECB mode. They could be due to they want some flexibility in it, or maybe just purely ignorant. The programmer who wrote this is not aware of this. Okay, it's just you need to use he want to do encryptions. He call a library. He need to put in a mode there. He doesn't know what it is. Then he just choose ECB mode. Okay. Well-known example is actually Zoom. I'm recorded this one using Zoom. Okay, the first few version of Zoom actually using ECB mode. Okay, you can see this for the detail. The secure mode will be CTR, the stream cipher, which we have mentioned it in our class in this session, CBC or GCM. Among these, GCM is the most secure in the sense that it can protect against a very strong attacker who can probe the so-called decryption oracle. Okay. Mishandling IV. Okay, this one is quite needs some explanation. Okay. All mode of operation except ECB use a IV, right? Initialization vector. Okay, so let's recap. This is a CTR mode, the stream cipher. The stream cipher, that we have a key and a plain text, right? This stream cipher, CTR mode will do this. He will randomly pick a IV, encrypt the IV. From the IV, the short IV and the secret key, you will get a long pseudo random sequence. Okay, you don't remember what this, go back to the segment on encryptions. I mentioned how this is done. Okay, and the encryptions is the ciphertext is the XOR of these two. We get this. It's what mentioned that the IV has to be randomly chosen. Okay, so that become different in different encryptions. The same key is to use to encrypt many times, right? You may want to use a key to encrypt one image and use a key to encrypt another image. You imagine that you suppose you have a camera, the key is the same, Then you keep using the same key for different image, different photograph. But for every encryption, for every image, the IV has to be randomly chosen so that it will be different, likely to be different. Okay, so this is a difference between key and IV. Key is the same for all images. IV is supposed to be randomly chosen. What if, for some reason, the IV are not randomly chosen and the same? There's a flaw in the program. The programmer who wrote the program made a mistake using the same IV. Okay. Let's look at the examples. Suppose I'm using CTR mode and using the same IV. IV is always the same. Because IV is the same, the pseudo-random sequence would be the same, right? For two encryptions. I want to encrypt one image and encrypt another image. Both using the same IV, using the same key. So the pseudo-random sequence will be the same. Okay, this is a pseudo-random sequence derived from the IV and the key. This is the first plain text. Likewise, I visualize the plain text as an image. Here, I make it easier. It's just 1 and 0. 1 is black, 0 is white. Okay, so we can give this image can be represented as a very long binary sequence. This is another image. Okay, this is a first plain text. Zebra is first plain text. Black and white is another plain text. And now the stream cipher CTR mode will XOR them to get the ciphertext. This for zebra. This one is a ciphertext for the black and white. If the attacker, the man in the middle, obtain this ciphertext, both of them. Okay, our assumption is the man in the middle can eavesdrop, right? So man in the middle obtain the two ciphertexts. The man in the middle or the if got these two ciphertexts and know that they are using the same IV. Why they know they're using the same IV? Because IV is not secret, it's shown in clear. Now, after knowing that these two are derived using the same IV, the attacker do this. He take the XOR of these two things. Okay. You take the XOR of these two things, can do simple mathematics calculation, which I don't want to go into detail. It's actually verified in here. The XOR of the two plain text will cancel out the random sequence. The random sequence, pseudo-random sequence will be cancelled out, and we'll get the XOR of the plain text. That means XOR of the ciphertext is the same as the XOR of the two plain text. Okay, so attacker will get the XOR of these two. When you XOR of these two, what we get? This over here. Okay, XOR of these two images actually lead a lot of information. From here, can we see that there is a zebra? Can we know that there is a black and white? So the attacker can figure out that likely that this is the two image. One is a zebra image. One is some words look like a B, L, and something and W, T, E. Right. So information is being leaked. Okay. What if we are using two different IV? Okay. If the IV are different, the key is the same. Okay. The random sequence generated will be different, even with the same key. With the same key, with the different IV, then we got two different sequence. If the attacker XOR these two, what we see will be like that. Okay, it will be the XOR of the plain text and the XOR of the two random sequence. Okay. Yeah. So this shows why IV is very important. Real life example, indeed, there are cases, okay, where the program, okay, make a mistake using IV that are similar, are the same IV. Okay. And this is in Microsoft document, Microsoft Words. Okay. You can see the detail over here. Okay, this was discovered in 2005. Okay, there are also many others, even more recently, like 2020. There's one on this one using of a static IV of all zeros, all zeros. Okay, and this one is, or this one is base attack is another versions. Okay, or base attack is even more interesting. Okay, if you are interested, please take a look. Reliant on obscurity. Okay. So sometimes some system will design thing. Okay, some system when they use the encryption scheme, they did not tell people what is the encryption scheme. Okay, they use something. They use the encryption which is very weak. Okay, because it's very weak, they're worried. Okay, cannot tell people. If other people know that my encryption is very weak, they were able to break it. Right. So if the security is relying on something people don't know about the process, there's some algorithm that you hide it to let people know, then we call it security by obscurity. Obscurity. Okay. So there are many examples to say that please don't do that. In crypto, we don't do that. Okay. For example, RC4 was introduced. It was trade secret, and later on, very fast, the algorithm was being found out. But the most well-known example is MiFi. It's a smart card. Okay, many of it's still in use today. This card, this version. Okay. The crypto used there is very weak. It's only 48 bits. The key, which can be easily break by our exhaustive search. And because it's weak, so the vendor, the developer did not tell us what is the algorithm. But when this card get popular, someone tried to reverse engineer and able to figure out the algorithm and break the scheme. Okay, okay, take a there's some video, okay, presented by the researcher who reverse engineer it. Okay, the algorithm will review at 40 minutes. Side channel attacks. Oh, this one is very interesting and very effective. Okay. What is side channel attacks? When we analyze a crypto scheme, as I mentioned before, we have to understand what the attacker can do, what is the attacker goal, and what is his capability, what information it has. Right. So then we design something that is secure against the attacker. So in side channel attacks, attacker look at this. Hey, the designer, when he design this system, is there something that is available but not considered by the design? Some information not considered by the design. And we use those additional information to break the scheme. And indeed, there are some information available. Okay. And very often, this information are obtained from the physical environment. Physical environment. One example is the power consumption. So many of us know what is a smart card. Okay, this is an example of a smart card. Okay, right. A smart card is called smart because there is a computer chip inside. Okay, there is a computer chip. Okay, if you have a smart card, take it out. Most modern card you cannot see the chip because it's hidden below. Okay, if you take it out, you can see the card, the chip. Okay, so there's a chip here. Okay, and the chip contain a secret key, encryption key. Okay, and this card doesn't have power. That's how does it run? Because it doesn't have power, how does this computer run? It draw its power from the card reader. When we insert this card, the card reader will supply the power. And then this chip will do some computation. Some of computation is a cryptographic computation, encryption, computing of MAC, signature, and so on. And all this computation is require a key, right? And the key is securely stored there. The card is designed so that it's not so easy to get the key from the card. Okay, you can't send an instruction to the card and say that tell me what's the key. Okay, this smart card will refuse to tell you. The design even take into considerations where attacker may use a electronic microscope to look at the chip and try to guess the key. And that's why attack is very effective on this, but most modern cards have many mechanisms try to prevent that. Okay. Without protection, this is how it's done. We know that he will draw power from the card reader. As an attacker, I have a card, I saw this card, and I want to get the key. I want to get the key. Okay, by the way, the SIM card in the phone is also a form of smart card, and a SIM card, there is a secret key there. If you are able to get the secret key out, then the attacker is able to clone a SIM card. Okay. So now let's look at this case. Okay, an attacker have a smart card. He want to get the key. So he may able to do what we call side channel attack using power consumption. He run the card, let the card do the computation of encryptions and measure the power consumed over the time. Okay, the power, the card, when you do encryptions or whatever cryptography operations, you draw power, right? And it take time to do it. So as an attacker, because I control the card reader, I can measure the power consumption. After the power consumption is measured, it's plot like a graph here, and then try to read the secret bit from the graph. In this case, this is a RSA, and then I think the peak corresponds to 1, and then the lower part corresponds to 0. So it will be 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, and so on. Okay. So this is very effective, okay, for the old design, okay, to get the key. Newer design of smart card take power analysis into consideration. They consider this, and they have many different mechanisms to prevent that, to confuse the attacker. Okay. So other side channel not limited to crypto. Okay, there are timing attacks. Okay, in fact, not only power, the time to encrypt. Sometimes we can derive the key. There's something called padding oracle attacks. Which you are interested, you can take a look. Okay, and this one is not related to crypto. Okay, from the sound of a keystroke, someone keying the password, then you try to guess the password. Why? Because we know that the certain key will make louder sound, right? Because our hand, some is stronger and some weaker. And then 3D printer, okay, 3D printer make a sound, right? So then because the printer have to go vertically and horizontally, the sound will have to move horizontally and vertically is different. And suppose that we overheard the sound, we want to guess what it's trying to print. EM wave. Most most electronic device will emit wave. In particular, the computer screen, the monitor. So it's possible, okay, if there's no protection, that someone measure the EM wave emitted without looking at the screen, able to reconstruct what is shown here. So imagine that you are using your computer in a room. Someone outside the room, after measure the EM wave, can construct the whatever display. Yeah. Let's pause and then go to the next segment.